This is Julia with JFK Freedom, and I want to thank the Lord for putting His words in my mouth and appointing me this day over the nations and the kingdoms of the earth if they so choose to listen, to uproot and break down, to destroy and overthrow, to build and to plant.
Okay, so today is February 9th, 2023. I'll be sharing a couple excerpts from February 6th, 2023, and one of them has to do with when we try to convince people to not take Vicky. In the end, the Lord didn't make robots. So he's basically helping us understand that dynamic. And also, I'll be going back to some of my radio waves messages, like how the Lord speaks to us. And he basically does admit everyone who believes in him has the opportunity to be hearing from him. And obviously, that's my hope for y'all. If the internet goes silent and we can't call each other or email, I hope you will have access or be able to get access to hearing the Holy Spirit's voice in your mind and knowing for sure deep down it's not anything demonic. So the other two topics will be about some of the clones. That's pretty much the theme that comes into my remas are abominations. So if something is an abomination, the Lord speaks on it, including like aliens and clones and stuff. Although I'm interested in the science, but I really don't actually do research on it because I do find it very, very disturbing, and I'm prone to have bad dreams quite quickly. I mean, like nightmares. But speaking of dreams, there's also a dream about how the Lord tests us in our dreams. So even if your thought life is like squeaky clean, you can still get these dreams from the Lord to test you and see what's going on in your heart. It goes back to the heart. And I planning to do a couple videos on the heart because the heart is very important to the Lord and that's what he sees. All right, so this is it is talking about a certain person that I know who will be dying, and the Lord is encouraging me to make sure that our relationship is good before she meets her death, especially with her own death approaching. For the Vicky are taking their toll on people's bodies, even some of my true saints like Sally and Bob, names changed. Be patient with them, my loves, and if they choose to ignore your warnings, then so be it. All right. And some of these rhema messages are so quick, it may be hard for y'all to get what he's saying, but he's basically saying these people are about to die. They're preparing to die. They're having effects in their bodies, and it's not my job to try to hold back the storm from their life. I've learned about fair weather friends this year, and someone that I know will be learning that as well. Some of your so-called close friends are fair weather friends too, sadly, so get ready for a pruning and cleaning of your social circles as well, for it's coming. War, sky-high rocketing prices, and then more inflation affecting all areas of society. Russia breathing down on Vienna's neck for more support. Will I attack that weak as F in his view place, he wonders. Speaking of Putin, Rasputin there at the end. Okay, so that was good for me because I've been thinking a lot about food, but then I was thinking it says sky high inflation affecting all areas of society, so obviously other things besides food will be affected. I know that's obvious, but when you go to the store and you see that some painkiller only costs like 3 or 5 euros, then you don't really think about getting extra. But anyway, that was a reminder to me to be thinking about getting extra of the things, even the things that seem very cheap, that are still very cheap right now. This Rima message is from October 10th, 2021. Speaking of clones and the pile, the top of the pile, he's talking about the elites and Satanists that rule each area of the world. Top of the pile preparing to tilt and fall, so the man of perdition can rule all governments, all peoples, and the so-called elites will be scrambling for their money and possessions, some for their lives, eventually all, yes, no matter where they hide. But the power will be gone, overthrown by demons and demon-filled people or clones, or whatever Satan wants to use. Don't be afraid, my love. There are some odd creations out there that'd make you barf, and for good reason. I'm tired of them playing God, murdering at will, and cloning people. Here he talks about hearing the radio waves. This is from October 14th, 2022. I'm sorry, the other one was 2022. Why shouldn't you, little heart or little love, be able to hear the Good Shepherd's voice from time to time? Just because the majority of Christians never make it to this level with me, or if they do, they certainly won't admit it to anyone important, perhaps only a dog or a small child, doesn't mean this level of communication hasn't been on offer to all my children in times past. I love speaking with and communing with my I am's creation. All right, and just to blow your misconceptions out of the water, the Lord can speak to anyone he chooses, and the example of the donkey in the Old Testament is a perfect example. As I am has said, I can speak to reprobates as well as sinners and my true children as well. That explains why some people's testimonies are so mind-blowing, and people can be so harsh and judgy, like, oh, you were in sin, how could you be hearing God's voice? And it's like, he's God, he can do whatever he wants. All right, and we're back to the radio waves. Here's another example. Here's more explanation on the radio waves. They are waves of thought from I am's brain to hers, much like radio or cell phone waves, with encoded messages the enemy cannot decipher or figure out, much to their chagrin. I have foiled him in the past and will continue to do so. I apologize if I mispronounced chagrin. I don't know anyone who says that word. So, full disclosure without all the disclosure. I had a test in a dream at this time in October, and I didn't pass in the test. And every time I receive the rhema, I have to repent for everything I can think of before I start to receive the words in my mind. And I thought I had everything down, but then the Lord revealed that I didn't. He said, she had to apologize to me for the sake of this rhema, for as she sat down to receive it, it was crickets on my end, till she repented of her folly, although it was only a dream. Those dream realms are portals where I am can test people. Do not fear these tests, for they remain private between me and you. Sometimes you will pass, sometimes you will fail miserably. How you react to these interactions makes the man, so to speak. All right, the Lord was speaking to me about being polite, and I apologize for the sound of this paper. It was a loose paper that I wrote on. This is from the fall of 2022, and I had been cut off in line by someone, and the line was very clearly marked. In Vienna, people actually, it's close to Eastern Europe, so people kind of rush and cut lines, and it's kind of chaos. Like, it's just part of the culture in some places to not have a line. There was a very clear line, and this lady clearly cut me as it was time for me to go to the front because I had spent a few seconds looking the wrong way. So then I rushed to get to where I was supposed to be, and the Lord rebuked me for that. So when he says you should have been, he means I should have been polite. You should have been, as you should have been to that joker today, my dear. So what, she caught you in line, and what of it? You would have lost 30 seconds or so and had some wounded pride. You're not Shiza, even if those people treat you like dung. Release the pride, dear. Don't be like your dad and have to compete with everyone. Laugh it off to human stupidity, for they are stupid to treat you so. And then I meant to mention this earlier. It was a phrase the Lord used for me for the Remus almost all year in 2022, and that was, give it over into I am's capable hands. Anything I was worried about, anything that was stressing me out, give it over into I am's capable hands. And one phrase even said, give it over into I am's golden capable hands. So that's an encouragement to y'all. And if you're feeling alone, this is from the rhema, don't slip into the trap of thinking you have no one, as she also did. That's not true as long as you have me. I was not going to share this part, but this paper fell out of the journal as I was doing the other rhema, so then I figured I should go ahead and share it. So y'all got a few pieces from this rhema, and here's the next part about prophets, and it's kind of sad, but it's something the Lord said he would heal as well, and it gave you more insight into my upbringing. So I will share that part at the end as well. But basically, in general, I just cannot stand it when people touch my face, or if someone's face is literally in my face. It's part of the reason I don't like riding the train or the U-Bahn here in Vienna. Here goes. Misconceptions of what being a prophet for I am entails. The prophets were always messy folks, which I am needs to work with, for they were very often banished from local society for their claims to hear my voice, and then in those odd, sometimes messy circumstances, I am can work or mitarbeit with them, whether men or women. Julie was so lonely and desperate in past times that I am allowed her to receive the rhema, although no, she truly didn't deserve it at all. Sorry, my dear, but you know it's true. No shame, my dear, chin up, and a bit of pride that I am chose you to work with out of all the millions in Austria and Europe wide. Very few hearts are beating at such a low electrical pulse as yours was at that time, yet also at the same time longing to be fulfilled in I am's strong hands. I love you so much, dear. And I perceived a light touch to my face at that point, like with both hands, like this. Your face, my dear, was abused by your parents. They stuck their faces too close to yours and yelled at you for screaming your head off in pain, which made the situation worse, of course. And there you have it. That's why you hate people in your headspace, so to speak. I am can heal that for you as well if you so desire. All right. And I'm going to share the end of this one. So this is the end. He said, walk in peace, my love. Pride. He meant godly pride. And no fear. Okay, it's enough for today. Love you. And I perceived a kiss being blown my way and another touch to my cheek. Remember, the kingdom of heaven is like a mustard seed, which a man took and sowed in his field, which indeed is the least of all seeds. But when it is grown, it is greater than the herbs, and becomes a tree, so that the birds of the air come and nest in its branches. God bless.